The last question first. I don't think they'll outlaw gold. I've said this for a very long time. If you have any intention of maintaining the world reserve currency, or even on that level if someone were to rise to challenge. If you have any intentions of being the work center of free trade in the world. If you could even call markets freely traded any longer. But if you have the intentions or the aspirations of maintaining any sense of normalcy in the financial markets, the last thing that our government could do would be to activate eminent domain and take physical gold from the populace, which is really the pimple on the elephant's rear end. In 1933, everyone owned gold, and the picture behind me, over my shoulder here, as we've shown before, that one up there at Roosevelt, that's him, the executive order. That's a $10 gold coin and a $10 currency certificate, along with the executive order for him taking everyone's gold in 1933. Everyone owned gold in 1933. Now, no one does. It's such a very minute. As Rick has said, if we talked before, 0.5% of the entire matrix and financial assets in this country is attributed to gold. That's nothing. And so it wouldn't be worth. The backlash the IT would be the unintended consequences of confiscating gold. I think would be extraordinary when countries like China and Russia are telling their citizens to own it and accumulate it. Instead, I think as I've mentioned before, what they will do is they will nationalize the ETFs like GLD and SLV and U. We can debate all day long about the veracity of the metal held in GLD and SLV, and is it all there? Has it been encumbered or what? I do believe there's a good deal of metal in both. I mean, SLV is by, if we hold them true to what they're saying, they're like the second largest stockpile of silver in the world, and then GLD fourth or fifth largest stockpile of gold. SLV is held by, or the administrator is JP Morgan. I mean the fox guarding the hen house, and it is HSBC Bank that is the administrator of GLD, again another fox. They could come in on a Friday night, nationalize those two accounts. Not do anything about taking physical metal from people. The prospectus doesn't allow the average person to take possession of the metal anyway, so they could pay everyone what their share price was at the close of business Friday and tell them, hey, you can still buy physical metal. We're just closing these accounts, and they would be sitting on a massive stockpile of gold and silver without violating civil liberties or breaking any laws. They could still look the world in the face and say, well, we didn't, take from our citizens, we closed a couple of funds. The prospectus gives us the right to do it. I don't think they'll take gold and silver. I really don't. As far as converting to a CBD as a central bank digital currency, yeah, why not? I mean, you could argue the dollar is already a digital currency in one respect. I mean, take a poll of anyone under 30 years old, and if they got $50 in their wallet, I mean, it's 1 out of 100 if that young kids don't pay for anything anymore with anything other than iPhone with Apple Pay or Google Pay. Or a credit card cash is just starting to kind of wean its way out of the system anyway. But I think the whole idea would be to transition. If we look at the Chinese digital yuan as an example, they rolled it out parallel with their enemy with their paper currency. So it's been a parallel deal where it's gaining more and more and more acceptance to the point where there's somewhere near 12 billion in transactions already on the digital yuan, but they haven't outlawed cash yet. And so it'll be in my opinion, they want to transition to the central bank digital currency. So selling your gold and transitioning into a central bank digital currency will be something that they want. And so will it be an underground currency? I don't think so. I mean, physical gold always gives you privacy. And you could argue that a central bank digital currency removes all the privacy. These what if questions are always impossible to answer. But what I will simply say is you do the best you can. You know the old adage, hope for the best, prepare for the worst. I don't see any other way to prepare for the worst than to have physical metal. And if it ever were called in, it would suck. But eminent domain, since they have to pay you a fair price. Roosevelt confiscated gold at just over $20 an ounce and then revalued it to 35 or devalued the dollar by 40%. Could that happen? Yeah. I mean, do you want to be a fugitive or not a fugitive, a criminal in a black market? That's your option if you do in that environment, but you'll have options when others don't have any. The bottom line is that I don't think converting it into a CBDC or physical. All being confiscated, this is primary concerns right now. Quite to the contrary, I think it is a life raft in a world of uncertainty, and then again we hope for the best and hope that we don't see government impose these type of fascist decrees where we can keep our metal, and again, if Rick is right, Rick rule. US 1/2 of 1%ers will be, not worth the backlash globally of confiscating physical gold for the tiny little amount that they would get, which doesn't even amount to a couple hours of money printing when the rest of the world, including communist countries, are actually promoting it and telling their clients to own it. Are they their citizens?